Picture this. It's the height of the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the powers in the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc after World War II. Now, imagine looking up at the sky and seeing an unidentified flying object, UFO. Sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, right? But during the Cold War, UFO sightings were a common occurrence and became a significant part of the era's propaganda. The Cold War was a time of intense rivalry and suspicion between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both superpowers were constantly on guard, fearing that the other was gaining an advantage. In this climate of fear and uncertainty, UFO sightings took on a new significance. They were no longer just a curiosity, they became a matter of national security. But before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to get notified every time I upload a new video, click the bell icon as well. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it a lot. Alright, let's get started. Let's talk about the CIA's response to UFO sightings during the Cold War. As UFO sightings increased, so did public concern. People were seeing things in the sky that they couldn't explain, and they wanted answers. The CIA, America's Central Intelligence Agency, couldn't ignore this. They had to respond in some way to maintain public trust and control the narrative. The CIA was concerned about these sightings for a couple of reasons. First, they had to consider the possibility that these UFOs were evidence of advanced technology from their rivals, the Soviet Union. If that were the case, it would represent a significant threat to national security. Second, they had to manage public perception. In a time of intense geopolitical tension, the last thing they needed was panic over mysterious objects in the sky. So they decided that a national policy was needed for what should be told the public regarding the phenomenon in order to minimize risk of panic. This decision led to the creation of several investigations into UFO sightings. One of these was the Robertson Panel, a group of scientists convened by the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence and Howard Percy Robertson, a professor of mathematical physics at the California Institute of Technology. Their task was to determine whether these unknown phenomena in the sky represented a national security threat. Another significant investigation was Project Blue Book. This project, which started in 1952, was the latest iteration of the Air Force's UFO investigative teams. Their goal was to scientifically analyze UFO data and determine if these objects posed a direct threat to national security. The Robertson Report was a collaboration between the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence and Howard Percy Robertson, a professor of mathematical physics at the California Institute of Technology. The goal was to gather a panel of non-military scientists to investigate the UFO sightings. This panel was tasked with determining whether these unknown phenomena in the sky represented a national security threat. The panel reviewed cases and sightings from Project Blue Book, which was an Air Force project that started in 1952. Project Blue Book was the latest iteration of the Air Force's UFO investigative teams. Their goal was to scientifically analyze UFO data and determine if these objects posed a direct threat to national security. Project Blue Book played a crucial role in investigating UFO sightings. They collected, categorized, and analyzed thousands of reports. These reports included sightings from military personnel, commercial pilots, and ordinary citizens. Each report was meticulously investigated, with attempts made to identify the source or cause of the sighting. The Robertson panel reviewed these investigations and came to several conclusions. They found that many sightings were, in fact, explainable. Common explanations included misidentified aircraft, weather phenomena, and even hoaxes. However, they also concluded that some sightings could not be easily explained and warranted further investigation. The Robertson panel, after reviewing the cases and sightings from Project Blue Book, concluded that many of the sightings were explainable. They found that a significant number of UFO sightings could be attributed to misidentified aircraft, weather phenomena, and even hoaxes. This conclusion helped to alleviate some of the public fear and hysteria surrounding UFO sightings. However, the panel also acknowledged that some sightings could not be easily explained. These unexplained sightings were deemed to warrant further investigation. Despite this, the panel did not view these unexplained sightings as a direct threat to national security. Interestingly, the panel saw a potential threat related to this phenomenon, but it wasn't saucers and little green men, it was the public itself. The panel was concerned that a misinformed and panicked public could pose a significant risk to national security. This concern further underscores the importance of managing public perception during this period. Project Blue Book, on the other hand, concluded that nearly all sightings could be explained. After analyzing thousands of reports, they found that most UFOs were conventional objects or natural phenomena misidentified. They also discovered that no UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the Air Force had ever given any indication of threat to our national security. During the Cold War, UFO sightings were not just a matter of national security, they also had a significant impact on public perception. The unexplained phenomena in the sky stirred up a mix of curiosity, fear, and excitement among the public. People were eager for answers, and their views on the matter were shaped by the information, or lack thereof, that they received. The UFO files from this era provide a fascinating insight into public perception during the Cold War. These files reveal how people viewed our skies and how they perceived what they could not explain. They also show how people's interpretations of these sightings were influenced by the geopolitical tensions of the time. The government's response to these sightings was crucial in shaping public perception. The investigations conducted by agencies like the CIA and projects like Blue Book were not just about understanding the phenomena, they were also about managing public reaction to them. The government had to strike a delicate balance between providing enough information to satisfy public curiosity and maintaining national security. The government's approach to managing public perception was multifaceted. On one hand, they conducted thorough investigations and shared some of their findings with the public. On the other hand, they also controlled the narrative around UFO sightings to prevent panic and maintain public trust. The Flying Saucer Working Party was a British government initiative established in 1950 to investigate the increasing number of UFO sightings. The group was composed of top-ranking scientists and military personnel, and their task was to determine whether these sightings posed a threat to national security. The report produced by the Flying Saucer Working Party in 1951 confirmed the findings of the American projects Grudge and Sign, the predecessors to Project Blue Book. These projects had concluded that most UFO sightings could be explained by misidentifications of conventional aircraft, natural phenomena, or hoaxes. However, the Flying Saucer Working Party report went a step further. It suggested that not only were most sightings explainable, but that all sightings could potentially be explained with further investigation. This conclusion was significant because it suggested that there was no need for ongoing official investigation into UFO sightings. Despite this, the report did acknowledge that some sightings were harder to explain than others. These cases were often those where the observer was deemed reliable, such as military personnel or experienced pilots, and where the object behaved in ways not consistent with known aircraft or natural phenomena. During this period, there was widespread speculation that governments were hiding the truth about UFO sightings. Many believed that both the British and US governments embarked on a systematic cover-up of UFO sightings, especially those reported by military pilots. This belief was fueled by the government's tight control over information related to UFO sightings and their efforts to downplay or explain away these incidents. These conspiracy theories were not entirely baseless. There is evidence to suggest that some information about UFO sightings was indeed withheld from the public. For instance, some reports that couldn't be easily explained were classified or not publicly disclosed. This secrecy naturally led to suspicions of a cover-up. One popular conspiracy theory suggested that the government was in contact with extraterrestrial beings and that UFO sightings were evidence of these interactions. While this theory has been largely debunked, it continues to captivate the imagination of many. Another theory proposed that UFO sightings were actually advanced technology tests by rival nations. Given the geopolitical tensions during the Cold War, this theory seemed plausible to many. However, no concrete evidence has been found to support this claim. The conspiracy theories and cover-ups that surrounded these sightings reflect the public's deep-seated mistrust and curiosity about the unknown. Despite the lack of solid proof for most of these theories, they continue to captivate the imagination of many. If you like what I do in here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you have some topics that you'd like me to cover, write it down in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.